What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Graps and Gripes. I can't even. Oh, I almost butchered the mess out of that. Graps and Gripes. I got to get used to saying that. YouTube channel. I'm PTP Percy. That's G. How we doing? Saturday evening and stuff.
I mean, generally pretty good. Quiet, kind of rainy weekend, but man, I won't be
Pretty,
like
pretty
be like everybody else necessarily, even though there's a lot to be upset about. But
yeah, and yeah, it's a lot to. Well, not really a lot to cover because I mean, granted, there are like maybe like things of note to kind of just like glance, like talk about. Obviously, the things that people like most of you guys know, like the promos and things of that nature. But primarily, it's predicting WrestleMania 42 with its on paper being a good card, but having a lot of holes, or things to like really like make it a like pop more. So
yeah, that's in the build. That's in the build part, not necessarily in the paper part.
yeah. Hmm. Oh, but also one thing before we start, for those that seen the last video, greatly appreciate it. I think it's almost at like almost 100 after the first week, which actually is, you know, might be a lot, might be a little to some, but it's a lot to us at this current moment of
Yeah,
starting a new channel. So
right. Considering first week
yeah,
we
pretty
both
much
were on
starting.
a
Yep,
layoff.
yep,
We
starting from the
both were on
ground up.
both were on a layoff before.
Yeah, but yeah, but just as a reminder, if you haven't seen that already, make sure to check that out after this one or before this, whichever one works for you. And also make sure to
Sure.
like the videos because it puts it out to the algorithm. Help us
Yeah.
help us get some new haters and some new fans. One of the two. So but
Sure.
but I guess to kind of just I guess kind of like roll the train a little bit. The beginning of the week started off with a solid promo, the CM Punk promo that if you guys haven't seen, pipe bomb esque, but with a lot more meaning than probably the first one had with the current climate that the company's in. Um,
Cool.
yeah. But from that to Friday, a lot to be desired.
Yeah. I mean, the Punk promo was phenomenal.
Yeah.
It was
I'm not
phenomenal.
like yeah, because we watched it. We were actually on here actually watching it, and almost forgot the circumstances of like the world that we encompass ourselves in. But it was like it took me out of like the hate that I had, and I was like, oh dang, maybe they might take this somewhere. I was wrong, but
Yeah, we were wrong because it was
I
like,
was wrong.
okay, well, it was just like, yeah, going into the show, it was like, oh god, that was so fucking bad. They really got to pivot, and then
Yeah,
Punk cuts that pipe bomb. And it's like, oh, they're pivoting. It's
yeah. It's like set it
shit.
up with Houston lore. Talked about TKO and the ticket prices. Talked about Roman having a golden spoon, basically.
Yeah, talked to
Said he sucked at football.
got a pity job because he sucked at football. Like went at Roman hard to
Yeah,
build that. Snuck in his thing, which was really good.
yeah. Pat McAfee was trending for like a week.
That was great. That was great.
Yeah,
That was so good. That was so
yeah.
good.
Pat McAfee
Um,
trended for a little bit.
yeah, like interfering in the business, it totally was taught. It made sense.
Yeah, and it was from the standpoint of like what they had just pulled on Friday. Right guided, like complete opposite of what they did the Friday prior to this one. Like right message, wrong sender. It was the right
He's,
message and it was the perfect sender.
this was, yeah, yeah. He was
Like
basically given bullet points and just went out there and did his thing. And he stuck the landing. Like he brought up Pat, but he didn't drag it. Didn't drag it on, and then seamlessly went right back to Roman
yeah, like
when he like sta-
hit every pin in the lane.
standing on his neck, WrestleMania, and it was just like, okay, I think we're we're gonna pivot away from this, or at least pivot away from it enough to where it's like, okay, that was garbage, and
Yeah,
they're gonna like
we
spruce it
yeah,
up,
like we made a mistake. You know, we could fix this, and you know,
sort of like with what The Rock did. Oh,
oh yeah, like the pivot from Cena,
it-
like kind of just keeping the run going as long as he could or wanted
but
to.
like, I mean, and then the hype was good for that. I mean, I probably watched that a dozen times leading into
Mm,
last night. I'm like, okay, and then it was like, oh well, Pat has a huge surprise. I'm like, oh, my honest thought was like, okay, somebody else is involved. Somebody else is getting involved in this that actually, no offense, Pat. Sorry. I
should
know
be on the
you're probably
screen.
um,
At least in this
you
role,
know,
that should be on the screen in this role.
r-
Because Pat is a
right,
commentator, great, love him.
right.
This,
Um,
I don't know.
but like going in, it was like a big surprise. I'm like, okay, there's gonna be somebody else involved in this, and it's gonna take a decent amount of the stink off it,
All right.
where they can, and that's what I thought was going to happen. And then I watched, and it was like, good God, they made it worse.
And you know, just to kind of sum it up, you know, I don't advise anybody to watch it. I genuinely don't.
No,
Like, no, not
no.
even trolling. I would advise you to watch WCW in 2000 before I advise you to watch that promo from last Friday.
Like I don't even know who Pat was trying to impersonate because he's middle fingers and TK. I guess TKO because I don't think Triple H did it, but TKO got them to like not beep out the curses, and he's cursing, he's flipping people off, and he's
Yeah,
like,
it was kind of like what I said a while ago, where it's almost like he got a wrestling encyclopedia full of like all the like buzzwords and trickster like old tactics that worked in like the 90s of wrestling, where you could just do random things on screen and people would eat it up because it was like, oh yeah, he acknowledged me in the crowd. It's like now these things don't work. And if that's the thing that he wanted to go back to instead of maybe the better era, like the 2000, like the mid 2000s, it's like, why are we going this far back?
the only thing minimally. I'm not trying to paint this into positive light, but
Hmm.
the only thing him doing it that way, where there's any logic to it, as far as like whoever thought this up, Ari probably,
Probably.
Nick Khan possibly, whatever. And because obviously we all know Pat originally said no, but then
Things
he was
changed.
given something right. But the only connective tissue to, and I'm not saying it was good, and it's a good thing because that was ass. But as far as like you said, like trying to cut a promo a la like the '90s, it at least fits and continues his narrative from the week prior, where he went on about the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
That's when wrestling was good, and it sucks now, and blah 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 blah. At least, not again. It was totally trash, but he continued that line of thinking into this trashy ass promo where he cursed and middle fingered and
Yeah.
tried
And
to run down tried to
and
run
to the
down
point,
Cody and
it's to the point of that I can say as well. To his point, which is probably as much as it pains me to kind of even draw this parallel, because this is like the closest I'll get to to sympathizing with the idea. For as long as, like, you know, we have been fans of this company, there have been a lot of times where they've done things in story where it's terrible, made no sense, and then it's like, you know, kind of slowly along the way you start to like realize, okay, you might look back on it and it's like, okay, how can I word this? Like like the Vince McMahon, you know, corporate ministry thing. In the moment, it was terrible. Even years later, it's still terrible. But it is a pivotal moment to some people in history because of the other things they did afterwards to fix it.
right, like at
So, you
right when
know,
we talked about it, we're like immediately with like Vince being the higher power, that immediately, like within 2 minutes, was like Austin was made the CEO of the company and he was in charge. And then,
Yeah. Whole domino
he
effect
owned,
of him torturing them and making it
he owned
hell for
half the
them.
he owned half the company, and he wanted his title, he wanted his championship back. So he was basically like, I'm getting a championship match. And Vince and Shane hated it. And then he was like, okay, fine. You want the company back. I want a piece of your ass in a cage, yada, yada, yada. He got
Yeah.
screwed. 'Cause that's what Vince does. That's what Vince would try to always do to Austin. And outsmarted him like Austin tended to do a lot of the time, where he had the clause in the contract where it didn't matter. He got he got his championship match, and then he won his championship. And
Yeah.
so they made
Yeah, they
it.
made them they ended up changing it into something that,
They they
it
worked
led to other
something
things.
stupid into something that made sense and
Yeah.
that was a good thing. I don't see.
It's like in this case, it's a dangerous strategy because back then fans had more patience for the recovery process, or at least like in theory they probably didn't know enough back then to really like understand like the lull of it all, to where it was like, okay, Vince was in the cloak, and then like all this other stuff happened afterwards, and they're like, oh, I don't really understand it yet, but Steve's on my screen. In this case, is now a situation where people are more knowledgeable. People know what they want, or at least know who they don't want on their screen. So it's risky to be like, oh, let's just have Pat on the screen. They might have a plan maybe months from now, or at least I'm not even gonna say months from now, because like the future plans involve Jelly Roll and a tag team.
Yeah,
So I'm not even gonna
let's
give them a month.
let's not
Mhm.
hope months.
Yeah. So it's like, but like down the line, it's like I don't know how they clean this up and then push the company more forward, as far as, okay, the guys that weren't on WrestleMania, because they did it last year with the SmackDown Tag Team division. They were on fire. One of the brighter spots of the entire night whenever somebody watched SmackDown, and their match was on the week after. I think it was the week after.
Yeah, yeah,
So
the
it's
Friday
like,
after the
yeah,
TLC match. Yeah,
and it ended up being one of the greatest ladder match TLC matches in the company's history. That wasn't on WrestleMania for, I forgot what took it. I could possibly say took its place. Probably,
but you also have to
probably the Randy Orton segment. I'm gonna be honest. Not that,
you
but
have to also look at
Randy Orton's been on bullshit the past 2 years.
yeah, but Rand yeah, but you have to think about it in terms of like time, because like Randy's segment and then Joe Hendry coming out and them having a short match, whatever it is, that TLC match they had on SmackDown was
And that was
what,
like
even with the
15
commercials.
minutes.
No, it was longer. I think
Oh,
it was
long,
the
yeah, long
commercial.
ago.
It was a better part of an.
Yeah,
So I mean, actual in ring time, it was probably. I might say it might have pushed 25 to 30.
compared to what made it on the card, it definitely should have had its own place on it. And kind of just like to segue into it. There's a lot of stuff on this card this year that, especially with how they're doing it, for the formatting, as far as I think there's two matches per night that are going to be on like ESPN2 or
Three,
ESPN. Yeah.
three,
And then the
yeah.
rest are on ESPN Plus. I'm about to just call it like the Disney Whirlwind of Doom, because there's like four things on this plan, and I don't know who's watching all of it. Like what's it, like Hulu, ESPN, uh I feel like there's like four things in it. I don't
They're
even
like
know.
their bundle is Disney Plus, Hulu, and the ESPN Plus, I believe. Or yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's
but then they ESPN Plus became like its own separate entity and is expensive as shit now. Because
yeah,
I briefly had the bundle. I briefly had the bundle, and the ESPN Plus was not what it is now. There wasn't much to it, and I think the bundle was like $13.
oh yeah, now it's like what,
ESPN Plus on
low
its own
twenties.
is ESPN Plus on its own is like 30.
Oh yeah, yeah, high end at this point. Yeah, which is crazy.
I still haven't confirmed that I have it. I think I do because family.
I
Isn't
agree with
just
that.
like
Yeah.
splitting up. I'm not even 100% sure I've got access to it. So I haven't figured that out. But and they're giving away and doing that free on TV.
Guess
It's
it
very likely
incentivizes
that
people probably to some
it's very
extent.
likely that two of the better two of probably you could come out of next weekend, right?
Right.
Ranking the matches as far as just like entertainment value. I'm not even going to necessarily talk about like grabs, just
Right.
pure like spectacle and entertainment value. There's a very good chance that two of the top three
Will be free.
matches are going to be free because and they're both night two and they're both going to be free because they
Right.
Brock Oba is opening night two. That's confirmed.
Which
And
is crazy, by the
WWE
way.
happily obliged. And then the ladder match, the Intercontinental title ladder match,
Which is also crazy.
are
I'm
going to be free.
yeah, and I'm not gonna lie. I might have to when it gets to that point. I might have to.
I don't even remember what they said. What did they say the night one freebies were?
At
Oh, it's
least
the
from what I'm.
Usos. It's the
Yeah, the 6 man
Usos and
tag,
LA Knight, the 6-man tag, Snore,
and
and then what?
I think the Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre match is free as well.
Could be
Potentially.
entertaining, but
Yeah.
could be entertaining, but
Yeah. Hmm. Oh, but also I forgot about this little thing. I don't know if I should probably didn't bring it up. If you remember last year's predictions we did, I went back and tallied them up, and it was a draw. It was like eight picks to 8 picks. As far as it being completely predicted the right way. So not that I'm aiming
well,
to
yeah,
be right because I don't want to be right this
yeah. I
year.
was gonna say neither of us called Seth,
Oh yeah.
especially with what happened. My tribal chief. I
Hey,
um
that's one of the
like to have
moments.
I like to have my own moment this year, but with the way this feud is going and the way Punk's talking, and I have a feeling he's going to do it again on Monday, even though Roman's going to be there. I still have a
Ah
feeling
yeah.
Punk's going to have like he's going to mini pipe bomb on Monday.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm not
sometimes
so sure. Like,
hey, sometimes you hey, even if it's bad, you might just make something shake. Like hey, find something that
but like, but like, even if The Rock shows up, and I'm saying he's going to because every time somebody mentions his name, a lot of fans get up in
oh yeah,
a
people get pissed.
get get in there.
Reasonably so.
Well,
Reasonably so.
but they get pissed because it doesn't happen. But a lot of fans also go like, "Oh, The Rock could show up. The Rock's going to show up," and then the day of, The Rock could show up. The Rock could show up, and then he doesn't.
Yeah.
But like, I think even if The Rock showed up, and because of the bloodline being not what it was, and Jay's crazy, and they're not everybody's on the same page, and you've got like the other part of the family, the MFTs, although they're kind of like cannon fodder on TV at this point, but was still part of the bloodline or
Yeah.
Bloodline 2.0 at the beginning when it wasn't terrible. Where Rock could see that as like Roman has failed the family as the tribal chief, and since The Rock is the high chief, he could come out during that match, and him and the Usos turn on Roman, which would give Punk the win, and obviously set up the Saudi blood money Rock Roman match next year in Saudi. Should they
Yeah.
stay there? Should they
The
stay there?
the definite blood money match for sure.
I still don't think I'd have that visceral reaction like you had last year. Where it's like, no, Roman, my tribal chief. I don't think I would care.
Yeah. And even just
Yeah,
surprisingly, like the reactions that they got out of people last year, like well, as far as like us specifically, those were not planned. Like I like I think it was like halfway through I realized it like I kind of forgot like the elements of what I was really watching. And then like the night two stuff, I just kind of thought it was funny because like
now,
that
what if, just hypothetically, I'm not. What
right.
if Rock shows up, the Usos heel turn Roman, right?
Hmm.
Um, or at least Jay does, and like when if you harken back to like the Bloodline breakup where Jay went at Jimmy pretty hard, and then it's like, you know what, you're out, and I'm out too, and they,
Yeah.
you know, where like Jay turns on Roman and Jimmy reluctantly joins him, and they, they pummel Roman, and like Punk hits it like a GTS, and Roman still kicks out because it's Roman, and then The Rock comes out, helps finish the job, and Punk retains, and Punk sells his soul to The Rock, and becomes TKO's corporate champion. I think that could get the reaction, maybe.
It would get him a reaction, but it would definitely be in the same realm as kind of what SmackDown's doing as far as, especially for like, I guess like the older guys too, that like some of these guys have grown up on, like the Randy Orton that people have grown up on, including myself, would not ever in a million years be seen in this type of pairing. And I feel like
No,
if I ever seen Punk in a corporate stooge role, I'd probably just go watch TNA. Like I'm not even kidding. Not even to say that TNA is bad, because I mean, shout out Ricky Sosa and those guys. They're cooking over there. But it's like that's one of them things where it's like that's enough to make someone actually take like a full on break from the company. That's enough to make somebody rethink even watching wrestling as a whole. It would get the reaction though for sure. It would definitely
oh
get
yeah,
them.
it would definitely be like a shock, like total anti-establishment Punk
It'd probably be like the
becoming the
reverse of what
establishment.
Stone Cold was. Because like when Stone Cold did it, it was like I think they booed for like they might have booed the initial night, but then afterward they started cheering again.
He got booed more. He got booed more when they, because when it initially was not getting the reaction that they wanted it to, Vince pivoted and paired him with. That's when they had the 2 man. That's when they did the 2 man power trip, because him
Yeah,
and Triple H being vile and like destroying Lita and doing all the stuff they did. That's what got him the heat.
which is crazy at that time because he that man in chairs was. I see that
Yeah,
highlight of like what he did back then. It was like he hit Lita like 8 times. He hit somebody else like 10 times. It was like okay.
that I remember that one segment where like they hit her and the Hardys got absolutely just
But they got wore out.
demolished.
They got wore
They
out.
got pummeled, because then I think that when they tried to do it again, and that's when they did the thing was Undertaker and Kane,
Oh
where they
yeah,
came out and they've had enough of this, and then they did that
yeah.
whole little mini feud with them that Undertaker and Kane didn't win.
Which is crazy.
No, for one of them. Because I remember they did the pay-per-view where like Austin and Triple H had like all the belts.
Oh yeah, they did have everything. I think Triple H was like IC champion or something like that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. He beat
Who was the IC champion at that time?
I think he beat one of the Hardys. Didn't one of the Hardys have it?
Uh, I don't know if Jeff won it yet. Who was the IC? It couldn't have been anybody of note if I, because I was gonna say Kane, but I'm like, nah, that couldn't have been the case.
When they end up having the PLE match where like it was Kane against Triple H, and then it was Undertaker against Austin, and it was the individual titles. Because then I think they did another one where it was the tag match where all the belts were on the line.
Oh yeah, winner takes all.
Yeah,
Either it's winner takes all, or like basically whichever one of the singles champions got pinned. It was like the tag titles changed hands, and that specific title changed hands. I think that might have been what it was.
but they had the individual first where it was Kane Triple H for the IC title, and then Taker Austin for the WWE title, and it's like Kane Undertaker didn't win the feud. You could have They could have at least let Kane beat Triple H for the IC title, because like it's the
Yeah.
IC title.
Well, at least the tag titles at that point they really didn't need it.
I think they did.
They won the tag
I
titles.
think they,
Okay, yeah.
I think they did. Yes.
Yeah, because at that point, like the
And they,
power was in the main titles anyway, so it's like, but in theory, it was kind of crazy for sure.
the only way Austin really got the heat that he got was because with Triple H, because Triple H
Yeah,
heat.
heat magnet. Yeah, yeah. Without any further ado, let's get into this card. This
Yep,
this array of people. Let's
yep,
start with the free matches for night one. 6-man tag
sure.
match. Logan Paul and the Vision. Oh no, the Vision's Logan Paul and Austin Theory with I Show Speed versus the Usos in LA Knight. Um, to be completely honest, I didn't really care that much about this match, but the only thing I could think
Oh,
of is hopefully there's like a LA Knight, abandonment angle, which sounds crazy, but hear me out. Because the Usos obviously are still like very much unhinged at this point. Where that leads to, I don't think anyone really knows yet. But either they turn on LA Knight because like Jay wants to do something that LA Knight isn't proud of, or as corny as it would be, because since it's free, I mean maybe it probably won't mean as much. Maybe the Usos get themselves disqualified and then destroy LA Knight in the process. Like just kind of like, oh, they didn't really care about winning. They just wanted to, hurt them, which is kind of what the objective is
I
at
see
this
it.
moment.
I see it more like there's probably going to be some miscommunication because
Right.
you know current WWE booking 101 more or less.
Yeah.
Um, there will be some kind of miscommunication where LA Knight will do something to one of the Usos, and
Yeah, on accident or something.
they'll probably like snap on him, and they'll double super kick him.
Speed gets the
And
pen.
you knew where I was going with that. Yes, Speed's going to be like out cold, and like he's going to somehow just get like put on and pin LA
Yeah.
Knight, and Division and Speed win.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I was like, honestly, there's no way on like trajectory wise. Because I don't know. I mean, obviously, I don't think Speed has anything long term. So Speed winning in this match doesn't really do anything. But as far
no,
as maybe something different, maybe involving like the Usos and Romans, situation later, it could potentially lead to
possibly.
something more if they were to lose, which is what I'm thinking will happen. I'm gonna lock that
And
in for me.
The LA Knight fans will have their 437,655th reason to be like they're burying him because he got pinned by I Show Speed,
Yeah.
which is technically,
Is it fair? I mean, to be honest, I feel like he's lost to more celebrities than anybody else this past year. Pretty sure Logan beat him at one point, if I'm not mistaken.
feel like he's just lost more to everybody in the last year than anybody else.
Yeah,
What it
losing
feels like.
period and losing to celebrities is pretty much where he's at this point. But yeah, pretty sure that's
It's
So I'm guessing for that one we
I
get the
have
same one, right?
yeah, it's
That's
pretty
fair.
much the same. I think it's going to be, but I think it'll be through some sort of miscommunication that they do something. I don't think they'll just full on heel turn him. In a heel
Right.
turn, it'll be later. I don't think they'll full on heel turn. I just think there'll be some miscommunication, and Jay's already in a crazy state of mind. I just think he's going to eat a super kick or a double. He'll eat a super kick, and then he'll get mad at them both. They'll double super kick him, and then Speed will get the pin somehow.
Yeah.
Somehow, like he'll get thrown into and roll on top of him or whatever it is. However stupidly they'll do it, where
Yeah.
Speed will just
Magically get away.
kind of like how the Vision, kind of like how the Vision won the tag titles,
Yeah. Or
where it
the
was sort of like they just sort of
I kind of just fell into it. Yeah.
yeah, you just well, not yeah. I think Logan just kind of like shoved him on top, and he just sort of like laid there dead, and then the ref cut made the cover. It would be something similar to that,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Hmm.
at least the other free match, at least from what I'm thinking, the unsanctioned match between Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre. Hmm. How'd you go first on this one?
Well, it's unsanctioned, so it's more or less a street fight. They're just gonna pummel the crap out of each other.
Yeah.
Which probably will be fun. It'll probably be carnage. I hope there's blood.
I was just
I
about to
can't
say
say
because I remembered how we viewed the last time. Mind you, this is the second time, and I want people to take note of this. This is the second year in a row that Drew McIntyre has had somewhat of a unsanctioned street fight esque type of match. That Priest match was mid, and I was very upset. I mean, they had good spots. So I think Priest did get hurt in that match. Not to say that that made it better, but they did do something. But it wasn't like it didn't capture the I hate my opponent element. And hopefully, and at this point, if they don't, then I mean I already know. Like that's just their thing at this point. If they don't capture the I hate my opponent element,
they've done okay with that to build upon
we yeah
disdain for each other.
they
They
done
just haven't.
they done it with brawls, but not like not to the point of like, oh, like Jacob Fatu got bloodied one night, or like, well, I think did Drew get hit by a car recently?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think yeah, like that was probably like the most aggressive they got with it, where basically he like ran his car into Drew. That's like probably
he
the
tried.
like yeah we
And he
tried
tried
yeah.
last night, even though the handcuff spot was kind of
It was very wonky because they kept breaking open, which I don't you
right.
know
But they could have just had it. They could have just added more to the hate element thing.
yeah
Drew just finally say, "I'm the one who took Jacob out."
yeah 'cause they still haven't closed the chapter on that
They
book,
still
so
haven't. They
I don't
still
know what
haven't.
that
But
is.
I mean, I think it'll be solid plunder. I hope there's blood, even though it's going to be on free ESPN. And I'm not can't guarantee that
Yeah, they
they'll
can't
do
get
it.
too crazy for ESPN, so that also hinders
But
them as well.
I think there's going to be blood. I think it'll be a good carnage match. You know, two big dudes beating the shit out of each other. Can't go wrong there. They're both really good, so I don't see how it would be bad. But if it wasn't for Drew after Mania going to film his role in Highlander, although I don't think he's going to be gone that long, but
Right?
um, if it wasn't for that, I would say Drew wins. But because he's going to be gone like immediately after to film Highlander, I say Jacob wins for that
Yeah,
reason alone. Otherwise, I would say it would definitely Drew would definitely win.
yeah. Yeah, to go along with what you said at the end, big, big meaty men slapping meat. Shout out to Biggie.
Hey,
Uh,
pause,
hey, no,
pause.
hey, that's a classic. That's a classic right there. But yeah, pretty much the same thing. Usually when people go to film movies, they usually just have them like send off their feud with them losing most of the time. So
Or the typical injury angle or some crap. But this is a good way to write them off because once it's over, they can both
they can go,
even
they can both go to different separate ways, have a new story or something like that.
Jacob could win the match, and Jacob could not appear on the following Friday SmackDown and just be like, well, he suffered this injury or whatever it is, and he's off of TV for a week or two,
Yeah,
and Drew goes to film, and
comes back and or at least if anything, it looks like he might go back into an MST thing, or at
I
least
don't
like,
know, I don't know.
or at least like he might be the catalyst as to why Tomo leaves the group like
Yeah,
fully.
maybe,
So,
maybe
which I mean, it gives him
we don't
something to
know what they're
do.
we don't know what they're doing. For all we know, they could very well reform the bloodline, and people are get moved around. They
Yeah,
could very well do it.
Nation of Domination, Samoan edition.
Possible.
Man,
Very
the
possible.
island of
Yeah.
relevancy. That'd be a fire stable name, low key. Now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that. But yeah, yeah, got Jacob on that. All right, first match of the card potentially going into like actually being on pay per view. Women's tag team match, fatal women's tag team championship, fatal 4-way match. I'm guess. Okay, so yeah, now it's confirmed. The Irresistible Forces, Nia Jackson, Last Legend versus Flair and Bliss versus Bailey and Lyra Valkyria versus the Bella Twins.
I'm sorry to say this because a lot of the people in this match, a lot
They're
of the
good.
ladies in this match are actually very good performers, and they're good. They're good. wrestlers, and that includes Nia,
Yeah.
works with. It depends who she works with, because sometimes
Yeah.
she is really good. But again, it depends who she works with. Um, but to be honest with you, I couldn't give two shits about this match because I just feel like the Bellas want one more little quick run before they're done with wrestling forever. God, and the Bellas are gonna win, and I don't really care. Honestly, I think that's really about the size of it. I think this is for the Bellas to win temporarily, to get titles one more, championships one more time before they're done with wrestling forever. And other than that, I don't think it's going to be very good, and I don't care. I'm sorry to say, but I just don't. I don't care. I don't even think
Yeah.
it's going to be very long. I think it'll be
Yeah.
under 10 minutes.
Wow, that's crazy.
I think it's going to be under 10 minutes.
To be honest, for me, it's granted it's like the optimist in me at this point. Um, Maybe it's a little bit of bias too, depending on like at least two teams in this match. I'm not gonna say all the teams, but two teams. The only reason I'm not going to say that the Bella Twins are going to win, even though that could be a very high possibility. At least as far as these past couple of like week to week showcases or whatever, the main constant has been centered around Bailey and Lyra. And to me, at that point, I would hope that they don't just have a situation where, okay, the teams that are almost constantly showing up, doing promo work, and actually putting on matches to further the stories. I would hope that they're not just being like used as a vessel and be like, oh yeah, get him a pat on the back. Barely didn't make Mania last year, but hey, take this pin. Nikki need that run before he fully goes to start a family. It's like at that point, I genuinely would hate for that to be the case. So I'm probably gonna go Bailey and Lyra as like a out on the limb type
It,
of thing.
it's certainly, if Bianca's not quite ready to be back, although I'm kind of leaning the other way on that one, but
Yeah.
it would certainly, not just the tag division, but the women's division on SmackDown in general, if Bailey and Lyra won the match, because then they could appear on SmackDown, and then all of a sudden
Oh, but to do it for a
you
couple of
could
things,
have,
yeah.
sure, I'm certainly okay with that, but
Yeah. But
to,
but, but I mean, yeah, like the way they've been going, I definitely do see why people are saying like, oh, maybe this is a ploy for the Bella Twins to like get a title reign or like because I don't think it wouldn't even make them Grand Slams. So at this point, I guess it would just be like an ego boost for them for some reason, even though they don't really. I don't know what I like as much as they want to say like they had an effect on the Divas Revolution. I genuinely or the Women's Revolution, excuse me. I genuinely don't think they played that big of a factor. I mean, maybe Nikki, if we're being generous, to the time that like because Nikki was actually that was probably some of her best work prior to the injury.
yeah,
But them as a whole, I don't think they really gave as much as much people say they were, or much they want to think they did. But yeah, I think that kind of like
I could totally see the Bellas winning and Bailey and Lyra still being kind of a pair, but I could also see them transitioning Bailey into a feud with Becky.
mm, which ironically enough, that kind of leads us right into the next match. Women's IC
Didn't
title
know you
match.
were, didn't know you were going to do it.
Yeah. Had to bring the segues back.
I mean,
Women's IC
it's
title. Yeah. hmm
unfortunate. Yeah,
Yeah.
Bailey or AJ Lee against Becky. It's good to
Yeah.
see AJ. She's steadily improved. Her mic work's gotten better. She's gotten her timing back in the ring, but we also know that she's not going to be around much. She's had the best of Becky. I actually think it'll be a better match than people even think it's going to be. I'm not saying it's going to be on par with
Yeah.
like, you know, Rhea Io Bianca last year. I'm not saying it's going to be like that good, but I think it's going to be
Yeah.
better than most people expect. But Becky's winning the championship back. She's getting her win, and then moving on. Although I'm not saying AJ's going to disappear, but AJ's going to probably disappear for a little bit because
Yeah.
there are rumors that Punk's might be gone too.
Hmm. Yeah,
I'm saying it's true. I've just there have been whispers that
yeah,
like
speculation.
there could be like if Punk does lose, like Punk's gonna take a brief respite. But
Yeah, yeah,
I think it's like I said with the last match. I think Becky wins a very good match and then transitions into a feud with Bailey. That's what I think is gonna happen.
yeah. Yeah. Just to be honest though, because it's
Like,
like,
they've done Lyra to death. Like, what else do they do? Because if AJ wins, you have a part. I'm not. This is no hate or disrespect, but you have a part timer as champion, and then do you really want to do Becky and AJ again?
yeah,
No,
yeah,
probably not.
yeah, yeah. But the thing for me is like, I
And
feel
then
like in this case, like as far as like AJ, if she, like, because I kind of would want her to win just for the simple fact of I don't. If anything, if Becky's gonna have another mid card title run, I would rather you just move her to SmackDown because I feel like she's done all she could with the women's IC title.
that's true. That's a true point. But
As far as like her elevation of, she elevated Lyra with their matches. They didn't do
she
nothing
did
with it. She elevated
no
Maxine, and when we
about as
thought
much
she
as
was
you could.
yeah, like much like she got her like, well, as far as like her and Natalia, like for the most part. But then they basically ended up feeding Maxine to Natty and squandering all the growth that they had through them stories. At this point, it's like it's hard to see a world where even if like like they do switch to like the Bailey arc, we've already seen Bailey in this role as well, and
But
it gets you start to spin your wheels a little bit. So it's like if
but the
AJ
problem.
wins. Mhm.
But you have the flip side of the coin where like okay, if AJ wins, then what do you do with the two of them?
At that
Besides,
point, either yeah, at that point,
get
Becky either
Becky in
switches
another match
shows
because
or,
Becky's gonna be because they'd have to have another where and Becky gets to beat her.
but also to the point of they've done it with Rhea and Io. They've had like 8 matches and Rhea has never won.
Yeah, but I think it's kind of different because AJ's. So
I mean,
I know she signed like a deal, but she's not gonna be around a lot. So I would think part of the idea is like I don't think they're gonna do it where like they have a series of matches over the next 2 years and Becky just
yeah,
never beats her.
yeah,
I
exactly.
just
But
don't.
that's
I don't.
yeah, because the thing I feel like is that if the case is that Becky literally is like, if Becky's more frustrated at the thought of AJ even being like in a ring or being with the company, for her to never beat her actually makes more sense in theory.
It can. I'm
And then
just
and, and
my
then and then it
concern.
kind of gives then it'll kind of just give her a reason to do something else
But
rather than to kind of beat the dead horse about it.
what?
Or
But if AJ wins, what is something else for both of them? Like, what do they do?
uh, mainly for Becky, change the scenery, or they could attempt to move her back up because I mean I feel like the Raw Women's title
I mean,
division outside
they
of Liv,
could,
they
but
don't have any heels. So
they could, but they're not putting her on SmackDown.
yeah, you never know.
She's not with Seth on Raw. No, they're not.
I get like the whole like couple thing, but at a certain point they gotta use their brains and think
But
about the.
they make a point of it now to keep the couples on the same show. They
I
make
mean,
a
yeah,
point of it now to go off
yeah,
on
they make a
quality.
point of it, but as far as like, if anything, for the sake of like, obviously, like, too bad they live together. So honestly, at that point, like, as far as like from traveling, the only thing they really do that for is probably like traveling purposes. Which at that point,
Well,
I
I think
mean,
don't they have the same kind of deal. Don't they have bus? I think.
they might, I don't know, but it's like
I
at
think
that point, at that, it's like at that point, it's like it gets to a point to me where, like, couple or not, they gotta start thinking about the landscape of the show because keeping Becky on Raw and basically kind of putting not putting her in purgatory because obviously I don't think Becky can ever really be overshadowed, but at this point they can't keep running the wheels back of women's IC title infatuation when all that work she put in, Maxine ain't doing anything. Lyra is back in a tag team for whatever reason.
Well, I mean, I don't hate the idea of her moving up, but that
Oh
would
yeah,
mean
yeah.
Stephanie would have to have the championship, and I don't mind that. But I'm if it's Liv, then what? Becky's gonna turn babyface against Liv,
I mean, they can do tweener. They can do tweener Becky like how they did before. Because technically, the man was never really face either. It was just
but then what? What then? What with AJ? Who's the next up? Who's next up for IC Championship?
yeah. I mean, you got
You go back
Maxine, you got Kyrie, you got Raquel if they ever want to actually have her win the match. Roxanne,
Roxy, the
like
dream
any,
match,
yeah, like basically
the quote unquote
anybody
dream match.
knew. Yeah, basically anybody knew at this point is what's needed for that title. Because at this point, the same three to four people have been around that title for the past 2 years. Something got to change. And if that's AJ's last gift to the company, as far as putting over like a Roxanne or something like that, and that being one of her last major things, I can accept that.
Oh, she would. She would.
Yeah,
She
I can
would.
accept that because Cora's gone, so I mean they can't do that with Cora. So it's like that's your next best option to like
Yeah.
have her pass under the torch moment.
Yeah, she could. I suppose.
Yeah, because like I
I
said,
just think Becky.
wishful thinking for me is AJ wins, but I wouldn't be
I just think Becky.
surprised.
I think Becky's. I think Becky's winning, and then AJ be gone for a bit for a while.
Yeah, take a little bit of a break probably. Yeah, so, yeah, see how that goes. Uh,
Prep for
once
SummerSlam.
again,
Come back.
he's all up.
And come back for SummerSlam for something.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Becky's gonna
Hmm,
win.
yeah. What's next? Oh, I almost slipped one. Seth Rollins versus Gunther.
I don't see any. I would think you're probably with me on this one. So, uh, the only outcome that makes any sense is Gunther wins, but because Braun Breaker is ready to come back and they've just given him extra time to be ready for in ring, Braun shows up, spear Seth, and rebump or whatever the hell it might be. Braun spears Seth. Gunther at that point, Gunther locks it in. Seth is out. Gunther wins. Good night. Seth moves on to feud with Braun and Gunther. You know, Heyman owes him way more than a thank you. Gunther could move on to do something else, but like hint that what he wants. I know it's a favor thing again, but like you owe
Yeah.
me. From Gunther, it sounds a little different than a favor. It's like you owe me way more than that, and that would probably, I presumably, lead to Gunther Brock.
Yeah, that's probably really the only realistic way to look at it. Because at least in this grand scheme of thing, like they can have a good match. Like granted, and I don't buy the story that they had talking about something they were planning this for the longest. They don't have to lie like that.
No,
Clearly anybody with eyes knows that they weren't planning that at all. Or if they were gonna like have a pivot where that they just randomly had a detour from what they were doing to have that match, I doubt that happens either. But yeah, like either that scenario in my mind, or it's like maybe they do have the match that people want them to have, and then
it's either that or the other members of the Vision interfere, and
yeah, or even then it's like either that or it's like say they have the match, Gunther ends up winning, and then like say Seth's in the ring trying to soak up some adulation, and then Braun just tears him in half, like just to add insult to injury that he just lost the match to Gunther that he
it
really
could
wanted to
be.
win.
I think it's most likely that Braun interferes and costs Seth the match, but there could be a
Yeah,
scenario where like Braun is cleared and Braun has been, the what's left of the Vision interferes and costs Seth the match, and then Braun doesn't come back on Saturday. He comes back on the Monday and spears the fuck out of Seth after Seth tries to take out the Vision for what they did. He spears the fuck out of him, and it's basically like it was his call to
yeah,
do that.
yeah, yeah. The only I'm looking at like the other side of it, like I mean, granted, there's the potential of at least like one to two outside of this match, like as far as like interferences are concerned, which ironically are the two matches that come right after this. But it's like the margin for the margin for interference is very very high overall for this for night one in theory. So
Well, Gunther shouldn't lose.
Oh, of course
Would
not.
it be
Yeah.
the end of the Would it be the end of the world if he did? No.
No.
But he shouldn't lose, and
Yeah.
Seth hasn't wrestled in 6 months. Seth shouldn't lose either, but at least the
But
digestible
yeah,
way to do it
but
is
also in case in point, if he's gonna get a Braun feud, which I feel in theory he's not winning that either. Like I feel like at this point, this is probably like if I had to think, kind of the same, not same thing, but like similar to kind of what Becky did as far as if
I
she
think he's gonna
if
win.
mhm.
Yeah, he's gonna win the beginning of it.
Yeah, or like yeah, maybe like the first encounter, but like the end goal is to like create a new star in this case.
Yes,
So
Braun's gonna win.
yeah,
Braun's gonna win the feud.
yeah.
And it could
So it
even
is
bleed
yeah.
in. If Punk wins, it could even bleed into that where they're just everybody's just
Yeah,
they're all involved with it.
everything kind of rolls back into place. But it's like, yeah, at
But
that point,
Seth
I feel
could
like Steph can lose. I feel like if Steph loses his first match back, it's not the end of the world because I mean, we know
lose
what he's gonna do.
via like Braun, some kind of ref bump or whatever it is, and Braun just like obliterates him, and then Gunther just puts him to sleep, and Seth doesn't really lose. He just passes out. He doesn't give up. He just passes out, and there you go. That
Yeah,
would be completely fine. And that's what I kind of think. That's what I think is going to happen.
yeah. Hmm. So what's next?
But he's going
Oh,
to
so,
beginning of that feuded with sort of like the Vision back at full strength, quote unquote. We'll loosely term it because Braun will be back.
yeah.
But Seth goes back to the Vision feud, and he wins the beginning of it. But obviously, Braun's going to come out on top there.
Hmm. Hmm. Let's see. Women's World Championship. Stephanie Vakir versus Liv Morgan.
Man, this is a tough call.
I would have had Liv in. To be honest, not Liv. I would have had Stephanie, but I feel like at this point, it's kind of hard.
They're
It's
built.
kind of hard to
They're,
gauge.
I think I think they're building this to live winning.
I mean, but like
That's why they look
based
so
off the
strong.
story, it's hard to see like who they actually sympathize with. Like usually like in most cases you would think it's like kind of like cut and dry, but there are certain times where obviously Liv is the antagonist. But I'm not gonna lie, after last Monday, it's like realistically, granted it's out of retaliation, but Stephanie looks more dominant somewhat on a week to week basis, or at least like in the beginning stages of like certain segments. Where like they've been
This is
going
the
back
most
and forth with everything.
this is the most work they've done with her character since they brought her up and then basically like put the title on her. This is the most work they've done with her.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah, it's definitely unlocked a
I,
lot for her.
I think she could use more development like they've been doing with her. It's like chasing the championship and going through people to do it and building up more of that equity with the fan base while Liv being the dastardly hero champion that she has to overcome. So
But also to that
I
point,
think
it's
it's
like if she loses, who is there for her to go through outside of henchwomen? Like there's nobody else. Like they've kind of made it to where like literally every major like title has like two people in it at a time. Which I don't know why they do it like that, but they put two people in it at a time. So it's not even like okay, say number three is like hypothetically speaking, like say Bailey was third in the food chain. There's not even a third. It's just kind of like oh, Liv's champion, and then random women step up, and then maybe they get the rematch at like a PLE 3 months from now, which kind of makes it hard for the title chase for some of them, or for that title specifically.
no, that's the when is King Queen of the Ring?
That's like, is it like October?
I don't remember.
I'd have to see. I think it's like around. At least some of them have been around like October and stuff. I'm gonna look it up.
Unless they're gonna do, unless they're gonna do like further implosion of the Judgment Day, where because they started trying to plant the seed that like maybe Roxy's not fully on board before Stephanie attacked and Dave gave the two girls the boo boos. Um,
Hmm.
unless something like that happens, I think Liv wins.
Yeah,
I just think Liv's gonna win.
yeah. I'm a yeah. I'm gonna go with my gut here. Just for the simple fact of I feel in this case, Liv has done a good job, like a really good job since he's returned. But in theory, it's kind of like the AJ Lee and Becky match. It's one of those things where whoever loses, or it's like one person. If the champion loses in this scenario, in these scenarios, it's like genuinely, what the heck are they gonna do after that? That hasn't
True.
what does the winner do that they haven't done a year or so ago? Which makes it hard to see the purpose in them losing in that winning in that case.
It's true, but I think that they've just been building this up so that Liv can win. So
Yeah.
Liv's gonna win. I like you should come to expect with them. They're doing, then they'll figure out what to do with them after the fact that they, and
Yeah.
whether they do it right or not is a coin flip.
Yeah. But I will say to last year's point as far as the triple threat match, I genuinely thought that they were going to do the wrong thing, and it just so happens that at least in the grand scheme of that situation, they ended up doing the right thing. But granted, a year from that point, or a year removed from that, I don't know if they still make that same decision. I'm gonna hold on to maybe that being the case, but if they do, like granted, like I said, it all depends on like things like call ups and anything that would you know lead to further further confirmation, I
It almost
guess.
feels like I think it's kind of just based on like as far as like my thought there for a second.
Hmm.
Um, I think it's kind of like booking wise, like what they do after Mania. They both, I mean, Stephanie should deserves to retain. Liv deserves a title run, but it's it's a situation of you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, because whichever way they go, what do they do? There's no necessarily clear direction of what they do with either one of them if they win.
Mm,
If he doesn't win, then what? Does she chase? But then other people would want a title shot and could be ahead of her. If
yeah.
Stephanie wins, then who? Unless, as we said with the Becky thing, if Becky loses,
Yeah, like then you have another story.
the problem is I wouldn't think she'd be done with AJ, but AJ's probably not going to be there. I could maybe see AJ on the Raw after, but AJ's not going to be around, so she would just like table AJ and just be like, okay, screw it, I'm going. You know, I'm with her yet, but and then AJ could lose to somebody else, and then Becky finally gets her win in a match where there's no championship involved, or he gets
Yeah.
involved in the world that you know the world heavyweight championship picture, wins it, match with Becky and AJ is for the world championship, and Becky wins, and
Yeah,
then
but
AJ's kind of done. Or
I mean, it's like one of
in
the
the
things. It's like I
meantime,
don't.
and in the meantime, AJ could drop the IC title to like a Roxy or whatever it is, and then you have
Yeah, it's just like I don't know, because like the more like that, at least for us, like winning, who wins and loses at this point, as far as like in the grand scheme of things, I feel like they always, at least recently, you start to realize how little the divisions are filled out, and it makes the winning and losing aspect for some of these matches seem almost impossible because you genuinely
Yeah,
like back then there used to be like, oh, if they ran JBL and Eddie Guerrero, you knew Booker T was behind that, you knew Undertaker was behind that, you knew at least, or maybe they'll do a battle royal and maybe somebody wins and you know that guy's not winning the match purely, but I mean, the battle royal, at least a little bit of intrigue. Like you knew there was at least maybe two people behind that guy to be in line for something. Now it's like,
right.
okay, the guy loses, and then you're kind of just like, oh yeah, maybe he just disappears or he's in purgatory. Like there's just no in between. So
That's why I
it's
say it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't, because regardless of which one of them wins, you have no clear idea of like what do you do with them after that.
yeah, and it's kind of like a self inflicted gunshot wound. It's like at that point, it's like, dang, I can't change. It's like you basically can't take risk like they should be able to, or create new things like they want to, because at that point it's like, oh well, dang, we only do two people in this division per
Yeah,
month.
they like realistically, it should be a good match, but they've booked themselves into a corner because regardless of who wins,
Yeah,
But they're not thinking. They're not. They're likely not thinking about that. What the hell?
I just got off. Hmm. Yeah, yeah, that was crazy. But yeah, it's like, right, or even this, I mean, obviously they were gonna be damned if they did or not, because I mean, like, like most women, they have like crazy fan bases. Like, there's a lot of people that genuinely love Liv, character work as a person. Same with Stephanie. So either way, you're gonna have the people that hate. Like even the Rhea and not Rhea, the Tiffany Stratton Charlotte match had people that hated on it, probably because of the match itself, but also just the fan bases, being like diehards or whatever. But yeah, it should be good though. I think it definitely, at least out of night one, I feel like that might be the best match on the card. If I'm being honest, like, that
it's
probably will
possible.
be the best match to me at least.
It's possible. It's definitely
Yeah.
possible. Yeah.
Or at least like the match that's like the least likely to be affected by an interference. If I'm like, now that I just ran it down, like outside of the unsanctioned match, of course, but that's probably the only match that I think won't have
There
as
could
many
it could
shenanigans in it.
could be.
Hmm.
There's still the possibility of Raquel and Roxy getting involved, one way
Ah,
or the
true,
other,
true. Yeah. Well, at least at
or
that
even
point, yeah.
Dom, or even Dom. Can't rule. You could even rule out Dom getting involved.
Yeah.
Certainly, yeah, possible.
Yeah. That's reminded me that speaking of Dom and go away heat, we got the undisputed WWE Championship. We got Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton going at it with Pat McAfee on the outside. 20 years of history, and we have a punter being the centerfold of a feud.
You know what? I want them to kind of pivot away from this and shock me by having Cody win, but I think they've basically just telegraphed Randy winning. It's just how
Yeah,
is
how
it?
can they dress it up to make it not as um
Is it as simple as Jelly Roll tries to get involved and gets taken out, and it's a distraction for Cody, and McAfee punts his nuts into his throat, and he eats an RKO, and that's it.
Jesus Christ. Why they gotta go up there?
Just I'm hoping beyond hope that like somebody else gets involved in the match, and it's like, okay, that's a little better. That's about the best we
Yeah.
can hope for. And the worst case scenario here is they scrap the tag match, although fine. That in and of itself is not necessarily bad
Right.
because they want to do a tag match with Cody and Jelly against Randy and Pat. But I mean, the nuclear scenario here is Jelly gets involved and Jelly turns on Cody too, and Randy wins, and Randy has Jelly and Pat. I
Good
can't put it
God.
past him at this particular moment. I don't don't trust them enough to not do that.
Yeah, but at this honestly, at this point, they've made me not care. They've made me not care so much about this match that at this point, I honestly don't even want to pick a winner because
I mean,
either way, I'm unhappy because Cody Rhodes at
most
this
likely,
point.
most likely, what we're going to get is after the fact, we're going to get Cody and Jelly against Randy and Pat. And actually, honestly, I could see. I'm not going to go as far as SummerSlam. I could see even before that, for that tag match, I absolutely could see Pat and Jelly 1-on-1.
Yeah, but and to me, it's like, man, it's gonna sound like it's not in like a realistic standpoint, but to the point is like I can see all of these things that they wanted to do. Like I feel like Kit Wilson could have got this across. I feel like there's a lot of other like this is mid. I feel like it's mid card. It's mid card ideology placed in a match that literally already had its story kind of laid out for him. Actually, I'll play this. It's kind of like if you take the CM Punk and Roman Reigns feud, and to counteract the idea of like Randy Orton being with Pat, say freaking Barry Bonds, not Barry Bonds. That's a crazy reach. Um, who the heck is retired? Say like insert random hockey player here is inserted into the Punk feud. It's one of them things where it's like, okay, maybe the message sounds good. Maybe the intentions were like, just to bring in money, which I mean, obviously they all want to make it. But if the story itself has endless amounts of ammo, where was the worry about you making money coming from? Like I genuinely don't know where the worry about you have Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. Where in this? I mean, granted, the match might not be good. I honestly don't think the match would be that good, personally. But it's like, as far as like WWE like fandom, this match was like 20 years in the making, or not 20 years. I'll probably say like I'll give it like 15. I'll be generous. I'll give it 15. But it was a match in the making with endless amounts of history. So
I mean,
it's like,
minus the likely interference part, I don't think the match itself in the ring is going to be bad. I just think it seems like the ending is telegraphed. Now, could we get surprised where that gets involved and Cody wins? Now, hear me out.
mm-hmm.
I do think it's a relatively minute possibility. But say Pat interferes and maybe somebody Jelly comes out to help Cody, and say Alistair or somebody else comes out because they're going to help Randy, but Cody ends up winning because CM Punk comes out and helps.
Elimination Chamber 2026. I'm sorry. I mean, like there's ways. Like I'm not gonna lie. I'll put it like this. If there's a way that they could make that work, but it would also kind of have to tie in the ending of night one the ending of night one would have to really like tie into like a bunch of like things going into the second night. It would really have to like basically like that happening on that first night. The second night you'd have to do the same thing, and it becomes monotonous to where, okay, when was the last time a Mania main event had an actual ending that was clean?
That was what?
That like when was the last time a Mania main event involving the men has had a clean finish? Probably been years at this point. Or at least I would assume it's
Just
been probably been a good amount of years.
straight up clean finish with no interference or strange stipulation.
Yeah. Like, they got stipulations, of course, but it's like as far as like just like straight up, they got in there, they had their match, banger or trash, they had their match, and it was it.
Would you technically say Drew Seth?
Oh yeah, True Self was clean. Yeah. Well,
This,
actually, yeah,
this
it was. Yeah, because it didn't
it
get
was
crazy until
after.
the end. Yeah, it was after.
Yeah, it was after.
Yeah, so like that's probably the closest we got to where like okay, like they had a story, they went in, they did it. Afterwards, it set up another story because I mean, obviously, years later they came back to it. So I mean,
I mean, that was only 3 years ago. It's not. We act like it was like a decade
no,
ago. It was only
it
like
feels like forever, but it's like at that point, it's like
well,
at least it
yeah.
kind of like set up a domino for other things, afterwards, and it was
We know this is
it
not.
was good.
We know this is not going.
Exactly. Which is why
But
it pains me to like even try to look past the match itself because it's like okay, Randy wins,
but hoping,
I'm pissed. Cody wins,
but
I'm
hoping,
pissed.
but hoping, but hoping beyond hope that because Punk brought up McAfee, I don't think they're going to leave it at that. Where Punk just mentions it once and then never speaks of it again. So if him interfering in the match because of other people's interference and basically saying "fuck you" to Pat and by proxy Randy by helping Cody, because it almost seems like they're setting something up to where at some point Cody and Punk are going to be like the company heroes for whatever reason, and it would kind of salvage this shitty build to this match where Punk gets involved and Cody wins, and maybe I don't know.
Yeah, it's yeah, or at least like I don't know.
Then
At least yeah,
you could get
it's
a tie in.
less to be seen if they because at this point the fact that we're even in this situation is already like they're in the
You
mud.
could get an eventual. You could work. You could all things being equal in a perfect world, you could tie it into the night two main event where say like The Rock interferes and screws Roman, takes over the family, and Usos are heels, and maybe somebody from one of the I'm not saying necessarily Jacob, but like or Solo, but like somebody in the MFTs or a new member of the family joins them, and it's not necessarily the bloodline, but it's like Rock's guys, but Rock needs like his like the whole soul thing. Maybe he doesn't say that per se, but he wants his own like champion who will represent the company, and that's Randy. So that when Randy gets another shot at Cody, Rock shows up again whenever that might be and helps Randy win, and Randy's his guy. And it gives Punk and Cody a reason to continue what they're doing, being like the company heroes and I'm helping each other. Certainly would make all this garbage a little bit more palatable because it would feed something better like we discussed with the higher power thing. It could feed into something where it's like, yeah, that was trash, but it eventually led to this and this is good. So it's like 10 years from now, it's like, yeah, that was kind of bad, but it led to this. So it's like
Yeah, I would hope,
it's
or at
not
least
it's not
yeah.
it wasn't as bad as
Yeah, it might
you
not be
know
as bad. Or at least like I don't know. It's like at this point I'm kind of just waiting on the I forgot what WrestleMania that was. But like I'm kind of just waiting on like one of those manias where like not to say like obviously they have to be like these specifically, but like similar to like what the Batista John Cena one was where like they both won their respective brands titles and it led to like kind of like the emergence of a new star while also, having the other guys like, still compile around it and still, like granted, even though they were older, they still added to something. I'm just waiting on one of those moments because at this point, I'm not gonna lie, like seeing a bunch of like respectfully seeing a bunch of 40-year-olds main eventing WrestleMania for like the past 3 years has been killing me. It has been killing me. It just seems so not crazy in theory because they're still good. I'm not gonna say they're trash, but it's like
well, it's the
ah,
same thing this year. Cody's like 40. Randy's in his mid. Randy's be
he's pushing 50, or yeah, he's
Randy's.
pushing 50.
I say Randy's probably about the same age as Punk.
So
I
like
would think,
43, 44, or not 43,
Punk's
45, I
47.
think. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Punk's 47.
Oh yeah, he's definitely pushing 50.
And Roman's 40, which is
Yeah,
kind of ironic. Roman calling Punk old when Roman's 40, but
yeah, not only 6 years away. He's only 6 years away.
yeah.
Six,
So
seven
it's
years
like
away. That's
there's,
crazy.
I mean, wishful thinking, but there's a way to make this all kind of like, if they want to, into some bigger story, not the bloodline, but some story that could intermingle both brands on occasion, and where it seems like a civil war where the company face, which would be The Rock on occasion, and it could be a figurehead on TV. You could one of the general managers is a heel or temporarily replaced by somebody who's a corporate guy who just tears the show apart and does whatever the corporate says, and then that would probably be SmackDown. But then Cody's the hero, but then you got Punk on the other side doing the same thing, and they intermingle once in a while, and it's like Cody and Punk versus the company, and whoever sides with the company. And I could include call ups because call ups might be like, well, you know what, I got to do. This is what the company gave me my shot, and that could be a way to help put over new stars who get called up because they're on the company side. Leads towards like a war games match where one or two of these guys are on the company team and they win. Like the Avengers babyface team actually loses to them, scramble, and new main eventers are made, and it accomplishes so many things and makes this little thing fit into something larger, as bad as it is. But months from now, it all fits into a overarching story, and it's like, okay, that chapter was bad, but the story was good.
Yeah, yeah, definitely a definitely a possibility. Definitely a possibility. At this point, like I just have to
Small,
wait to see what they
small one, but
actually. Yeah, it's,
go
it's it's
beyond
like this
hope.
way, like seeing what they do. At this point, I'm not gonna lie. Saturday win or lose. I might just go on a tangent just because.
I mean, more than look, the most likely scenario is Jelly Roll tries to get involved, gets creamed somehow, some way. It distracts Cody. Cody gets kicked in the nuts. RKO. Randy's the champion. We get a tag match at Backlash, and we deal with this crap for at least another month.
Hmm. Yeah, I
And
guess it's
yeah,
yeah.
there's a tangent to be had, but then we can save the tangent for then. And the holy fuck, did we just see
Yeah,
for a week from now? Because a week from now, probably about this time, we'll be talking about this at the exact same time.
it'll probably be yeah.
Well,
Hmm.
yeah, because I think I don't know. Is it are they is the free hour at 6, or is like the pre shit gonna be at 6?
Yeah, they
And
begin.
then the
They both begin at 6. The kickoff is at 5, but the beginning of like the free matches is at 6, I think.
so tech shows starting at 6, and they're probably gonna they'll I would assume they're not gonna go till 11 or close to it. They'll probably go to like 10, probably 4 hours.
Probably. At least I
So
would assume.
yeah, but you know yeah. I mean, but yeah, at this time a week from now, we could still be ranting about
Where the company's going, which I feel like that definitely.
that main event and God, whatever else happened on the show. That's like, what the fuck did we just watch?
Yeah.
Mhm.
But right, that was night 1. Uh, night 2, which is the more that I look at it, actually, never mind. I'm almost ate my words. So I was gonna say, night 2 looks kind of good, and then I was like, never mind. Let me take that back. Uh, the beginning looks good, but other than that, I don't know. IC champion, Intercontinental Championship ladder match. Penta, the reigning champion, versus Javon Evans, Dragon Lee, JD McDonough, Rusev, and the returning Rey Mysterio, who was added this past Monday, I believe.
Penta retains, but what they should do is because of how over all the new young stars are, and they want to make somebody. Javon should win.
To be honest, I'm not gonna lie. I don't see Penta winning this at all. I'm being completely honest. Like Penta's reign, granted, I mean, if they want to make like do what you want, but the people they put in this match outside of maybe four people, yes, maybe not four. Let me see, one, two, outside of three people, I would assume more or less like there are fans that would probably not be upset if Javon won or Dragon won. But I'm probably
I don't
gonna
think that. I don't
I'm
think
probably
that.
gonna go with
I
Javon
don't
though.
think. I don't think that many people would be upset if Ray won. To be honest with you.
Oh no, if Ray won, if I'm a wrestling fan and Ray wins, I'd be pissed. That man's been like respectfully, he's been sitting on his ass for I don't know how long. He missed last year's Mania, and and he comes back and wins the title. Nostalgia aside, like I'd be pissed.
Well, they could be looking at it in terms of nostalgia, where he wins and him and Penta feud for the title for a bit, and I don't see too many people hating that. But
I mean,
I'd
yeah,
give
but
it
it's
to
like,
Javon. But
yeah.
realistically, Penta's going to retain, but Javon's going to do something fucking nuts.
Yeah, they're probably. I mean, there's definitely gonna be good spots in this match. I mean, they're. I'm not gonna lie. Respectfully, aside from Rusev, I think there's potential for all of these guys to do something very very cool. And
I see Javon. I see Javon on the top of the ladder, reaching for the title, and knocking and climbing up with somebody and knocking them off, and then jumping off the top of the ladder to OG cutter them.
hmm,
Cause I don't
yeah,
know what else what else crazy could he really do?
you can probably spring off the ladders. Like have a rope, have the ladders leaning over, and he just like springs off the ladders and the ropes or something like that.
Good, like somehow make some sort of like ladder bridge, like from one side of the ring to the other, and he literally like goes over the rope and runs the ladder bridge, and then does some sort of aerial maneuver
Yeah, that's like a flip and like
to
maybe
the
there's like another
outside.
ladder like linked up. Yeah, it's a lot of
Oh yeah,
possibilities.
he could do that, run
Yeah,
up and then do. Yeah, he could.
yeah. So I know for a fact JD's gonna get a moonsault spot because I feel like that's probably mandatory at this
Yeah,
point. So somebody's gonna be holding a ladder. He's gonna flip. Probably a
but
dragon. Yeah, probably a lot of
I just
spots that is possible.
Penta just got it. I don't. I think he keeps it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is fair too. But I don't know. I feel like for me at this point, just to kind of at least have not now the shock factor to me used to be say a guy just won the title. He's riding high. He's feeling like the greatest. He's saying he's gonna take on the world, and then like maybe his first or second defense, he just get he just loses. It's not even his fault probably, but he just loses it anyway.
Yeah, possibly.
I wouldn't. It's like those surprises. I wouldn't be mad at. I'd be like, you know what? Hey,
But
not
much of
not
a
not.
workhorse as, but as
Mhm.
much of a workhorse as Penta is on TV every week, I think he retains, and then
Yeah, I can see that.
cause
Yeah, not, yeah,
it'll make it
yeah,
much better for whoever beats him for it, because he's a workhorse.
yeah,
So I think he retains.
yeah. Yeah. It's got a good potential. I feel like either way, I feel like this match will still be good. Um, yeah, I feel like as long as Rusev or Ray doesn't touch that title, we're living good. We're living good. It sounds messed up, but at this point, I'm getting to that point.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But then the other match that surprisingly, I thought they might have to change this. I don't know if this match remains free. I don't know if it does.
No,
I mean,
they ESPN asked for it, and WWE obliged
that's
because of the
crazy.
MMA tie-in and all that kind of stuff. It's a
Oh,
done deal.
yeah,
It's opening night. It's opening night too. It's
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we got the ruler Oba Femi versus Brock Lesnar.
Barring, because they're going to both be there Monday, and the advertisement poster for the Raw after Mania, Brock.
Hmm?
Yeah, they showed a. They have the post. They put out like poster things for like the Raw for next Friday, and then for the Raw after Mania, Brock is on, which is implying that Brock's going to be on Raw after Mania.
Yeah.
Um,
After some thought of like we kind of just sitting here just now, it made me think maybe this match doesn't even have a
personally,
winner.
but it's possible, but I honestly think unless Brock gets his hands on Oba this week and like drops him, Brock is winning.
I can see that.
I know Brock can give. I know Brock can give when he wants to, and he sells the shit out of everything, and he's been doing a very good job at this. But this is not one of those things where I think WWE is gonna Brock Oba's continuously gets the one up on him, one up on him, one up on him, and then they finally have a match, and then Oba beats him.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah. Which in that case
And
is like, yeah, like I think at some point, like Brock, like so if at some point Brock gets the upper hand, and then like or like if he gets the
like
upper hand
okay,
like Monday, and then like say
like for
Friday
example,
it alternates or
I
whatever.
just say for example, if they have they're probably gonna have a segment Monday, and Brock
Right.
gets him
Right.
right. Even if he
Hmm.
doesn't like really get him, but he gets him. Like he gets a bit of a receipt, and then the night before they're on the show, and he lays Oba out with an F5. Then I could be like, okay, this this is an official take. If that happens, Oba wins. If not, if that does not happen, winning.
Yeah, I can see that, but yeah, or at least like yeah, I'm at least I'm
I think
gonna try
it'll
like
be an
I'm
under
gonna
10.
meet in the middle with it.
I think it'll be an under 10-minute match. Brock is gonna German. I think Brock is gonna German him. He's gonna F5 him, and Oba's basically gonna like. I want to say he's gonna completely no sell it, but he's gonna partially no sell it. Like he's on, which is gonna shock Brock, and then a kind of like like you learned from Goldberg, like he's gonna take his best shot. He's gonna get up, surprising Oba, and Oba being quote unquote a rookie might just make one mistake, and then Brock is gonna catch him and then like F5 him like 3 or 4 more times, and that'll keep him down. Oba doesn't look like a punk getting beat by Brock because Brock did him what he did to like he's done to many other people, like he did to John Cena, for example, and just obliterated the shit out of him. Except Oba took it and kicked out, and then eventually doesn't.
He took it as crazy. And I didn't want to say it, but I was like, yeah,
I didn't
he
say he
took.
took the meat. I mean, I said he
Hey,
I just said
he,
he took it. Like,
no, you. No, but I go on. Like I thought about it is one of those things where I mean, obviously that there is a chance that there's a clear cut winner here, but the more that I thought about it, at least from the way that they've been like kind of prepping the whole thing.
Oba definitely should win. There's no question about it. Oba should win, but
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's not really two options. It's either Oba wins or basically you make it as chaotic as possible to where now Brock has an alternative option for SummerSlam depending on if you want to actually still have the Gunther match or not.
do you give them more time and have them like pummel the shit out of each other, kick out of each other's moves, and just get so brutal and kicking the shit out of each other that like multiple refs get taken out, and they finally just say it's
Yeah,
just
but
they
really
just
like
like
yeah, like really like to me is like I'd rather it be like okay like that, but like they have a hard hitting match. If anything, probably not even
like
At
no
this point, I
contest.
would, yeah, like I wouldn't even say like maybe even like finishers involved. Like at that point, like just happens to be like, oh, like Brock's been pissed off because of how the weeks have been going. That it's like he just wants to put hands on him, and it's like,
Or maybe they do it where they have like uh, they just pummel the shit out of each other and they won't stop and rest getting bumped and it's like uncontrollable
yeah. But I say like,
and
like say they leave the ring, and because they quote unquote say this is a match of high magnitude, they don't want to count it out, but they've been out of the ring for way more than 10 seconds. They try
or
to
they could
split
just
it.
or they could do something because it's the free first hour and they could have some time and do video packages after that for the actual like paid broadcast.
Yeah, like I said, to
They
advertise
could
it, make people want to
they could
sell.
do
Like,
the
yeah,
spot. They could do the spot where like they both just pummel the shit at each other, finishers, kickouts, whatever it is. Like Brock just can't put him down. Oba can't finish Brock quite either. Pause. And what if they do a spot where Jesus Christ,
no, I was yawning and it kind of worked.
you all right?
No,
But
for
they
real,
could do a spot. They could do. They could do. They haven't done it in a while. Um, but they could do a spot where um the finish of the match is Oba and Brock like up top or damn near up top
what the ring breaks.
rope, and Oba gives him yeah, and the ring breaks, and they're both out. That's how the no contest happened. They're just both out, and
Yeah, yeah, that that would be a bad idea. It
where
would
they
be a
both
bad
look
one.
like monsters, and you could have another match that Oba can win, but and you protect them both. Nobody loses.
Yeah, but also at this point, it's like if Brock's gonna leave anyway, does he really
A Grace from
need?
the top rope would be fucking epic.
Yeah, because if Brock's on his way out,
With
does he really need as much stature in that case?
the only the only problem with that is if Brock is on his way out, and say SummerSlam is his way out, he's on the way out.
Yeah.
Realistically, this be his last two matches in the company. Is he really going to lose both?
If I'm him, he should. He probably should. If anything, I will say like as much as I loved like how like when they say like oh AEW did like Sting's farewell pretty well as far as I don't think Sting lost a match in AEW now that I think about it. I don't think he lost a match. And that match was agreed upon to where like obviously even fans were saying like oh like why did he win his last match? And it was like okay, it was agreed upon within the people that were in it, being the Young Bucks, I believe, that they were gonna drop the match because obviously they have more matches in their future than he does. For WWE, however, they have a problem with generating anything like under the age of 30. So at this point, for most of these guys' farewell tours, they need to be losing on the way out. As much as it would be good for these guys to go out on top and
I don't think there would be an issue like if Brock's done at SummerSlam or he loses on the way out. I don't think Brock would
yeah,
care. And maybe he does lose. He's willing to lose to Oba, and then his last match is at SummerSlam, he loses that because if
yeah,
they cut him a big enough check, he probably won't care to make Brock less than.
check wise, of course, but also it's like with a lot of these guys, if they've done everything, what left is there to give? Pause. What left is there to give them the rub? Like, there's nothing left for them to give back to the company.
And
Like at
then
that
doesn't
point, like they don't gain anything from winning a championship.
no,
They
and it
don't
doesn't
gain
make
anything
Brock
from winning.
Lesnar
So
and doesn't make Brock less than because he's still Brock
yeah,
Lesnar.
yeah. I say like
And if
Brock won a UFC championship. That's more than
it's
probably the
Oba
book for him to do.
and if it's Oba and Gunther,
Yeah,
it's
like
make him less.
those are two credible people, and then now they have a crash course because now they have something in common. You know,
For all we
they
know,
you know what?
Brock loses to Gunther with because Gunther gets help from Heyman, and Gunther ends up a Paul Heyman guy,
Oh God, hell
and that
no.
would be the ultimate like stick to Brock to end his career, where his friend and advocate for 2 decades turns on him in his last match.
Hmm.
I don't saying they'll do it. I don't hate the idea though.
Yeah. But yeah, it should be pretty good. I mean, at least like spectacle wise. I mean, they wanted it, so I mean, I'm hoping at least because they wanted it on ESPN that the match isn't a complete like video game 4 moves of doom. I'm hoping if that's. I mean, granted, I'm not saying like they're gonna go out there and put on like a New Japan like Battle of the Super Juniors masterpiece, but I mean, I at least would rather. I would hope they at least make it worth the while of you putting it on. Like
Yeah.
you asked for this, and if you asked for a match that is consisting of like 8 German suplexes, 3 F5s, 4 fall from graces, and a bunch of chops, I'm genuinely gonna be confused as to what the direction of like them wanting it for would be. Besides the fact that Brock is like the UFC ties and all the other stuff. If that's like the only reason, then I'm like, okay, like we're just doing favoritism at that point.
Like Brock and Goldberg all over again, but
Mm-hmm.
it's over this time.
United States Championship match. Sami Zayn versus Trick Williams. And I believe they said Lil Yachty would be there. So, managerial status, of course. I think there's really only one answer for this match, to be honest.
Yeah, Trick.
Yeah. And the only other way, the only other way to make it a little bit different is if they find a way to put Mello on the card. I doubt they will, but
I mean, the smart choice is Trick wins, and then Sammy can go like nutty full heel. But I can see a scenario, and I'm not saying it'll happen, but I can see a scenario where they play more into Sammy healing it up, and Sammy heals it up and cheats to win.
yeah, I would have leaned towards the double turn. Yeah, at first I leaned towards the double turn because I mean obviously
Well,
they
certainly
they
not
they have.
purposeful,
Hmm?
not purposeful double turn, but just by proxy, Trick is a babyface now.
Oh no. The thing is not even that. It's like granted they've been talking about internally turning Trick after. I think it might have been even before Elimination Chamber. Like they genuinely have been they thought about like
So I'm sorry.
make.
Say what?
Hmm?
What you just What you just say?
That is nowhere near the same. That is nowhere near the
You
same.
you give me the AO when I say something like taking it. When I was talking about moves, and you're like, well, I'm sorry, what? They knew said turn and trick. I'm like, pause.
That's crazy. You see this people? You see this?
He did. I said taking it when I was talking about moves, and he gave me this. I'm sorry, what?
I'm not going. He'd have been saying some flagrant stuff since this started, and I let it rock. I
Be
let it rock.
flagrant? Never.
Flagrant. He talking about dudes taking it.
He was talking about turn and trick.
Yeah, that was different. That's different. I ain't say turn and trick out. I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Look, the people who have watched us the most, or whatever, or a couple people might know me better. They know. Oh,
Oh, they
y'all
know
know.
you're.
I'm not flagrant in any way, shape, or form.
This man is a
I'm a
walking flagrant. This man is a walking flagrant
halo.
3.
Halo.
He's a walking flagrant 3. But
Hey, halo over the head. And no, I'm not just doing this to flex muscle. Halo over my head. I'm an angel. I don't do flagrant.
if I could find a way to edit like a whistle and like Scott Foster somewhere in this video, I swear I'm doing it.
Super or like a super cut of me saying flagrant shit and like
Oh
gotcha.
yeah, like just a montage of this.
Out of context comments. Yeah.
But
No, I would never do or say anything flagrant.
I was like pull up. Yeah. Ah, yep. There's actually There's like one moment in mind that I can definitely find. That's
With
it.
me? Flagrant? Never. Never. I'm a choir boy. I would never do that.
Choir is okay. That yeah.
I'm an angel. I would never do such. Little do people
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. What was that? I'm getting off this trickle topic.
Yeah,
I'm getting
going off
off
the
this.
rails here.
I'm getting off this.
Going off the rails here.
What we got? Oh yeah, the demon. I don't know why it's a demon, but I mean it's Demon Balor, Demon Finn versus Dominic Mysterio. Um,
Finn
in my
wins.
mind, yeah,
Finn wins.
it's basically
Not long.
shoehorn once you put the demon on the screen at this point.
Not a long match. Finn wins. Maybe JD interferes and it doesn't matter, and they at least for one night, Demon Balor at least has the aura of invincibility like he once had, and for a brief moment, and that's about it. I'm not saying it won't continue, but
Yeah, yeah. Which
yeah,
sucks because I mean at this point, like I get the plan for like all the stuff that he wants to go through and everything like that, or obviously I wasn't a fan of the last two losses, especially the Edge one. I definitely don't understand why he lost the Edge in the cage as
don't.
a demon.
Roman
The,
one, it's not
Yeah,
egregious.
the Roman one, I feel like in theory, it like based off of how it happened, I can accept it. Then again, I don't. Did they ever even follow up on why the turnbuckle broke? I don't even, well, that might have been that might be up there too. Then I don't know, but it's like at least like in that case, it led to something bigger. But the Edge loss, I understand that kind of killed it might have killed the mystique for some people. But I will say
Sure,
that I will say I wish it like the demon would go back to two different ways of doing it. Either one how it used to be where it was like okay big events, it wasn't announced, he just did it, like he painted himself for the occasion, and it wasn't like a supernatural thing, it was like okay, I'm war ready, I'm ready to go. Or the second one being kind of like the same thing, kind of like as far as like big time matches where obviously say he's had a chance to like face them in regular human form, and he gets just close to winning, and then he's like, "I bet you reach into a bag, you reach to an alternate world, like how they want to dress it up to be, and then you use it." I don't think you needed it for Dom, especially since I think Dom has only won one Mania match in the last 2 years. So I mean,
yeah. On a lighter note, though, since we're talking about the demon, best version of it.
the best version.
Yeah,
It's kind of a toss up because
I have one.
the Jack the Ripper one he did, I like that one.
That's what I was gonna say. That's what I was gonna.
Yeah, and
I mean,
the Japan one from when he faced Owens. That one
that
was
one,
really really good. That one was good too.
yeah, that was good. I like the Jack the Ripper one.
Yeah, like that entrance in
Yeah,
itself. That he had the chains. Yeah, he had the
yeah, with the
saw,
chains. Yeah, the chainsaw, the woman scream. It's part
trench
of like,
coat.
yep, and
Yeah,
the hat. Yep, yep,
yeah,
great.
yeah. Have a comment down below it. Which version of the demons face paints that you guys like the most? I want to hear that down in the comments because there are a lot actually. It's a lot.
Yeah, there are. Yeah.
Good lot. Let's see.
What's next?
Yeah. Women's championship match. We got Jade Cargill versus Rhea Ripley. This has been all over the place. At least to me, the last couple weeks. Um, I see Jade winning though. I do see
Yeah,
Jade winning.
unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, just due to the fact
I
that
see
like
Jay.
stable leverage, direction.
I think the most likely thing is because you know Io lost last night.
Right. Don't know why,
Crap.
but is what it is.
And probably is that's going to be her role on the show is to come out at some point because BFAB and Meechin come out. Could see somebody else joining, and I could see somebody else joining them. Honestly, I could. Um, costing Rhea in the match, and then the beatdown of the two of them ensues, we get the Bianca Belair return.
Yeah. And also the only thing I can think of really is like I also just realized the amount of matches on each card. I think night one has 7, I believe, right? I think it's 7.
Yes, night 2 has 6.
Yeah. The only thing I can think of is like hopefully wishful thinking is that the Asuka and Io match gets added to the card. And cause I feel like they're gonna try to make like a last minute thing.
I don't think so. I think they're gonna have Io and come out to Rhea at some point, and that's going to be her WrestleMania appearance. And I think they're going to spread the time with the 6 matches and the Hall of Fame thing, and that's how they're out.
Yeah, I could see it that way as well. It would be terrible, but I could see it that way. But I feel like at that point they kind of have to pivot back to it, especially after the promo Asuka did. They kind of have to.
Those first 2 matches are going to easily be the first hour.
Probably like half of it. I mean, it's like
No.
I mean, like are you talking about as far as like the main card or as far as like the 2 from prior?
Well, no. I mean, technically, the 2 matches that are on for free, it's the main card. It's just that first hour people can see for free, but it's still part of the overall show. I'm saying,
yeah,
time wise, that whole first hour it's going to be those 2 matches.
Yeah.
So they're going to something is going to get dragged out.
Yeah.
Besides the Hall of Fame thing, something's going to get dragged out for time. And the main event, they're going to definitely drag because something's happened.
Yeah, but also sure. I don't know. Yeah, but that point it will also be like one of the most like. Granted, it would be on par for them or on brand, but at that point, if they do a whole vignette segment for that Asuka and Io match to be a free match on Monday Night Raw, like they did them tag team titles, I'm going to be highly upset.
That's more likely, probably.
Yeah, or at least I'm thinking because I remember they kept saying like, oh, like if. Cause you know they like trying to they love trying to make things like a surprise. Like they dragged out the triple threat match announcement. I don't know how many weeks when everybody knew it was happening. It's like they kept dragging it out to where it's like, oh, Rhea's saying she needs to be in it, and Bianca claimed her spot. Like they dragged that around for a while. It could be a chance of that, but I mean, if not, I don't think Rhea's winning this match for.
No, I don't. I think Io's just going to be on the show to try to help Rhea, because the numbers are too much, and I could absolutely see somebody else joining. What are they called again?
I mean, I don't know if they add more to that. They're barely building what they got right now. Or who else they add will just overshadow the other 2.
Possibly, I don't think WWE cares or looks at it that way, but
I mean, really, it's like the only people that I could think of that they would actually add. I don't think they would be getting caught up anytime soon. Like, there's really like only 2 options, depending on how. I mean, obviously NXT like Stand and Deliver was like a couple weeks ago, so I mean they don't have anything that week anyway. But depending on that, it would weigh out into like how they play that out. But they'd be playing with fire on that one for sure.
I did likely to be like numbers too much cheating. Rhea gets screwed. Jade wins. The beatdown begins. Io comes out if she's not already out there. Io gets beat down too. Bianca Belair returns, turns the tide, scares them off.
Yeah.
And they'll probably drag that whole thing out with everything. They'll probably drag that motherfucker out to like 25 minutes or something like that when it has no right to be.
Yeah. Plus, I'm not gonna lie, like it's kind of been the same. I kind of have the same idea as far as how I did with like the demon stuff. As far as if Rhea needs all of that to take out a team that has like respectfully, that has a team of Michin and BFAB in it, this is overkill. This is like dropping. This is like getting a nuke in a public lobby, and then after the nuke drops, the AC-130 just like spins the block and and just smacks a building. Like, this is like it would be it would be on brand for them. It
Yeah,
would be overkill
yeah.
for sure.
But
But
I mean,
yeah. It's possible
I guess
though.
the bright side of it is
I mean, Bianca will be back. You know.
the feud doesn't continue. Yeah, Bianca and Jade.
Yeah. And let's see. The meat, the main event of night 2, CM Punk Roman Reigns for the World Heavyweight Championship. Um, I'm gonna go Phil. I'm gonna go Phil.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and say it. I'm gonna be one of those people. I'm gonna go ahead and do it because it's a it's a coin flip. Punk wins. Uso's turn on Roman. I think before we started recording, I said it. Jay snaps. He tries to take Punk out. It doesn't work, and then he snaps on Roman because Roman doesn't beat him. Like maybe Roman, it's like smash, 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 or whatever it is, and Roman hesitates for a second, just for a second, and Jay's like, screw this, whatever it is. They turn, or Jay does, and then Jimmy reluctantly does. I'll turned on him before, where it's like, all right, I'm out, and then just, but Punk wins, and after Punk wins, The Rock shows up. I know, Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, The Rock. The Rock comes out. He gets in the ring. He tries to make nice with Punk, like to shake his hand or whatever it is. Like, okay, you won, good job, champ, whatever it is. Rock Punk, which of course will bring the boo birds. If they'll probably be booing anyway.
Yeah.
But then he helps Roman up, blah 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 blah. You can hear him on camera like, I love you, blah 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 blah, this and that. I can't, whatever it is. He acts like he's admonishing Jay and Jimmy. What are you doing? Blah 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 blah. And then he kind of like gives that like gives like a grin or something along those lines, and then he rock bottoms Roman, and then he does this, and the three of them beat Roman down, and there's your lead into Rock Roman next year, and the Usos are doing the Rock's bidding, so it's not
Mm.
necessarily a bloodline per se thing, although they could they could bring in another family member there or move somebody or whatever it is to put with them if they want to pseudo bloodline thing. But it's like High Chief said it. Roman's out. Roman's not the tribal chief anymore. He's disgraced the family, whatever it is. You get Rock Roman next year's WrestleMania. I'm not sure what you do from there as far as when Roman comes back, but
Yeah, it's up to them to decide if they do that. So, yeah. I mean, it is a strategy. I mean, well, it is a plan. I mean, obviously, if they, cause if they can tell you, they've been talking about Rock Roman for like the past, like, what, 4 years?
yeah, but I think if they're still going to do Saudi next year,
There's a higher
I
chance
don't
of
know
it,
what
yeah.
chances are part of that massive quantity of money that they gave was an assurance that they're getting Rock and Roman
Yeah, because
because
I
they
think I
want
seen
Rock
somewhere
and
that they
Roman.
said like the amount of money that the amount of
So
money
the
that they
Rock
have,
probably
like that
Rock
going to add like more people.
probably
Yeah.
already said, okay, I'll do it. I'll do that because I'm pretty sure WWE got $500 million for it.
Yeah, so basically they'd have enough to like get Rock and probably squared on the like. I mean, obviously, I don't think anything
Chainsaw.
else really comes out of that, but
And on top of that, they probably cut Rock a big ass check too to be like to ensure that he'll do it. And Rock probably said yes.
yeah, so
And this is how they'll set it up.
yeah,
And maybe
yeah.
if
In that case,
schedule
that's the
permitting,
only scenario I think Rock would be like accepted in at
schedule
this point.
permitting, Rock will probably be on. Roman will show up on Monday, pissed off, go after the Usos and whatever it is, and The Rock's going to show up and beat him down again because then that's how Roman can disappear because he gets beat down. That's how Roman always takes his time off. He gets beat by somebody, and then Rock, before the segment's over, Rock says, "You, me, WrestleMania next year," like he did with Cena. See Rock when we see him, and then Roman takes his vacation because the only I don't there is no logical reason for Roman to win unless Roman's going to show up more often than
Oh
he
yeah, we know that's
normally
not gonna
does.
happen. So
Because you Roman, even if this goes the other way and the Usos help him win, or The Rock does return, or something else like that, and helps Roman win, you're not going to have a world champion for 4 months or 3 months, however long it is that Roman decides to take off, or what? Roman is earning the schedule, and they're going to do what? They cut Roman a big ass check to work more dates when he doesn't really care about it.
yeah, or at least at that point, the
Like,
only yeah, or at least the only way that they would like kind of to the point of like earlier, which I mean, sadly, this is like the only way it would make sense. If Roman was to win, you would probably have to just include him in the same thing you're doing with Randy Orton and Pac, because realistically, the only reason that Roman would be able to do that type of schedule and kind of like basically hold the title hostage would be due to higher ups being like, oh well, Roman makes money, he makes us money, he can show up when he
the
feels
Civil
like it.
War,
Yeah, like
Civil
that.
War.
That would be the only reason that Roman would have somewhat of a tie or
Because
an
of the money
inkling
and
to
the
winning.
schedule, money in
Yeah,
the schedule, and come and go as he pleases. He's a company guy, which means so him and Randy are basically the biggest names on the company side in a
yeah,
theoretical civil war
yeah,
thing.
in the eyes of DKO, if they want to do it like that, to where it's like, okay, like maybe if The Rock doesn't even want to do anything, that could be their pivot. But also at the same time, it's like that would be the weirdest two man power trip angle if you had Roman and
Would
Randy
definitely
Orton
it would
holding titles
be a
hostage.
little it would be a little interesting, but Roman can't disappear for 3 months
Not exactly,
or 4 months.
or not even that. It'd probably enhance the story at that point. 'Cause I mean, it's like imagine if like he just showed up via satellite for 3 months.
I mean, I wouldn't even care if he like. I'm just saying he can't just be non-existent for 3 to 4 months.
Yeah, like to fully disappear, of course. But it's like if it's like kind of like when Rock was transitioning to Hollywood, and it was like every once in a while he would just show up via satellite. Talking about them, oh yeah, I'm on set of a movie or I'm doing a cameo. Like he would basically
Or
literally, yeah, he would
record
show up
something
as
with the record something with The Rock. If they don't set that matchup, record something with The Rock. Like pre-do something and then air it like he's there, or like he's live via satellite. Something.
yeah, like they're that's like probably like maybe one of the only ways. Granted, I'd probably hate that too because that means the Pat McAfee story would still be happening. But there's ways that they could, I guess, pivot to where it's like okay, or
And
not
then
pivot to where like they can have an idea of like, oh, if Roman wins, then we can do this instead. Or
just say, look, you can you can have your reduced schedule and you can have your time off, whatever it is. But like for the sake of this bigger story that we're starting to build, can you at least show up, you know, once a month before you go back to your regular whatever it is? Give us a little bit more, whatever it is, and show up once a month instead of just disappearing for 3 months to like, randomly appear on TV and spear somebody or do whatever it is and just appear real quick and then and bounce. Like, you don't have to be there all day. Just show up, do this, record some stuff, yada yada yada. And at least there's some bit of presence instead of him just disappearing for 3 months and then coming right back into the story, the champion, and then Raw has no champion for 3 months
yeah,
doing anything,
yeah,
and then because then what? What do? You Punk feud with the Usos for 3 months.
Punk and Jimmy for the championship. Main event Jim.
Well, I'm just saying, but like under the guise of Roman wins, like what do you do with Punk? You have Punk feud with the Usos for 3 months
At that
until
point,
he maybe gets
at that point, they're probably gonna have Punk chase until he gets turned away or has anything else to like link him to.
or does or did they try to elevate somebody else and it's a reason for Punk to take time off and Punk's not on TV either.
Yeah, that becomes the issue because it's like outside of maybe like Braun, who
Or if
else would be next?
Roman's the guy and he's the Rock's guy for that for Raw, and he's got the Usos and whatever it is, and the four of them beat Punk down, and Punk disappears too and takes time off.
I think if that happened,
And
he
Raw,
quitting.
yeah,
That happened.
probably.
If that happened, I'm not gonna lie. He's already gotten titles and belts taken from him by The Rock before. If they were to bring up the idea of like, yo, we're gonna have Dwayne, Joe, and the twins get you hands and feet, and they're gonna write you off for a month, and he's gonna be like, oh, okay, I'm going home. Like,
I mean, unless they brought up the idea of something happening, and because he said I want time off.
yeah,
Maybe he actually asked for time off, and this is like, well, here's the compromise. This is how we're gonna do it. How we're gonna do it.
oh yeah, how to set
It's
it up,
part of
yeah,
your story, and then you come back as a returning hero.
yeah. But the thing is, like, imagining a potential WrestleMania where there's a
The only
Cody and
question
Punk
is,
celebration in Saudi Arabia is like that. That does not sound interesting to me at all. I mean, it's an ending for sure, but I mean, in that landscape, it's very
but you could have Punk come back, sort of in a sort of like pipe consistent. Well, I'm not saying every time he picks up the mic, but
he said consistent
more,
pipe. I'm sorry.
more pipe bomb, more consistent pipe bomb Punk,
Yeah.
and Punk kind of comes back, sort of like, I don't know if it fits his character, but you could have like lawless, talking shit, pipe bombing Punk, sort of vigilante style, coming back on and appearing on both shows. Because
What I kind of said.
if there's things going on and like both shows are being run roughshod, then Punk returns and like just starts going after everybody, not just Rock and Roman and them, but also Randy and whoever on SmackDown because.
Yeah. Couple ways to do it. Couple ways to do it for sure.
But part-time champion, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Regardless of what Roman said about the title and the fact they had to make that because of what Roman was doing before in the heat of the bloodline thing, and then heading towards the end of it, it makes no sense to have him really want it that, regardless of him.
Besides the spike the man he's beating for the title, I don't think there's really any
Right,
like
like
incentive to be champion for
he's
him.
made it clear that title means nothing. So what's the point of putting it on him?
Yeah.
Even if he was around a little bit more often, what's the point of putting it on him? Unless you're going to have him hold it for 1,300 days or whatever it was, but for a prolonged time. What's the point?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Holy shit, something happens. Thing. Because we'd really, if based on what I said doesn't happen, like the Usos either help Roman win or they turn on him, then realistically the most shocking things that happen the entire weekend is that and Bianca Belair returning, and that's it.
Yeah.
Where's our holy shit moment?
I just want the graps back. I was like, at this point, it's like I'm over like the I'm over the let's trend on Twitter and let's get reactions. I just want the wrestling back. Fuck it.
It's going to be the problem though, because realistically, based on the card for either night,
And there's barely any
what's the
wrestling
most,
on it for sure. There's
I was
barely
going to
any.
say what's the most likely match where you're going to get the grabs, like the actual grabs?
At this point, the tag team
Stephanie
match.
Liv maybe. Stephanie
Stephanie.
Liv maybe.
Stephanie lives for different reasons. Though. I mean, I feel like they're just gonna have like a really good, like hard hitting match. I can't even say AJ. I mean, AJ and Becky might be grabs. It shouldn't
They
be, but it might be.
Yeah, if they bring it, sure.
Yes, I know Sammy and Trick not going to be grabs.
Yeah, maybe some.
Yeah,
Just
there's
depends on
barely
the
any
time.
on this card. Now that I think about it, there really is none.
If Sammy and Trick got 20 minutes plus, you get grabs. You get good grabs. They're not going to get it.
Yeah, it'd be something. It'd be something. It'd be something.
I hope we're pleasantly surprised by something and some holy shit thing happens, because right now I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, at this point for me, it's like like just to kind of like start wrapping it up here. The only thing that like I realized as far as like these WrestleManias the past few years, aside from I'd say because I watched like because last year I kind of got like a match from like okay like if I wanted to go back to it I could like that Ray Phoenix and El Grande match I definitely probably will watch that later after this is over because like I remembered how good that match was and I'm like you know what I need to see it again um but yeah this card on paper they say like oh like from a star power standpoint which is what they wanted clearly this is a loaded card stylistically and production wise, it may or may not live up to the star power that the card is holding, which is probably the long term issue that they're going to face. But I mean, like I said, like as you heard throughout this entire video of us talking about it, there's a lot of ways they can go with it. Some make sense, some of it doesn't, or some of it is like in the mind of how they work, they would probably do that and be like, oh yeah, this is good, but
I'm hoping after the fact that we look.
I hope to be wrong as far as because even kind of like last year, I was kind of wrong a little bit because I had no hype for last year, and some of the matches actually surprised me that I remember. Some of the matches surprised me. Other than that, the two big things stand out for most people. The three big things stand out for most people. This year kind of has the same undertones of three things being a standout moment for everyone, which could be a bad thing. No, not even good. It would be a bad thing, and should be addressed later on. But yeah, but
We can
and
hope, and we're gonna be here to see it.
yeah, enough of my
You know,
my Solid Monster impersonation because I they were telling him to shut up on Twitter earlier. So let me let me do this. Let me go
July
ahead.
4th. Be a very that next weekend could be a very long weekend.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I think we probably might start around 5 potentially. Just the fact like like the stuff that's free obviously and then kind of trailing into that night because being there for the kickoff show just seems crazy to me like starting that at 5 is crazy well not 5 but no I think it start the free stuff starts at 6 right
Yes, the actual show technically starts at 6 o'clock,
yeah so
but
6 yeah
first hour is on free TV, so technically it starts at 6. Yes.
yeah so 6 instead of 5 almost at 5 put us in a hole but yeah because being 5 for the kickoff and they're just going to talk and show vignettes I don't know that doesn't make there's no point in doing
Yeah,
that.
we can go live right before.
Yeah, like either 5:59 or 6 on the dot. Probably, it's probably the best
Yeah,
bet, more or less.
or just to get settled and get the word out, we could start like 5:45, 5:50, like 10 minutes early. Just be
Yeah,
kind of like settle in
something like
and
that.
yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that's all. That's the predictions we have, and that's it for this video. As always, appreciate anybody that watches this. Once again, like the video very much so if you like it or not, you know.
Subscribe if you're not.
Yeah, subscribe if you're new. I ain't gonna say road to road to a band. Road to a band, you know. Across
And
all across all
as,
channels.
as we jokingly said, there could be some incentives for getting us there quickly.
Oh yeah, within reason. Within reason.
I'll do it.
None of the.
I'll do it.
None of the. Nope. Nope. Whatever he's saying, we ain't doing it. We ain't.
I mean, Santi's gonna end up oiling himself up because the other one's gonna do something off the top rope at some point. So, is it really that much worse?
If he want to be Big Dick Johnson, he can go be Big Dick Johnson. But we not gonna do.
He's not a fat. He's not a fatty.
Yeah, he's not fat. But I mean, like as far as like, if he gonna oil himself up and be BDJ, you know, that's a crazy acronym. But if he's gonna do that, by all means. But I will be damned if we have the equivalent of what was Gideon's name before he was Gideon? Was it Dennis something? I forgot what his name was. But I'm pretty sure he got on screen and was naked before they put him in the ministry. I'm pretty sure he was on screen.
Yeah, but he was still Midian though.
Oh, he was naked as Midian?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so that's even crazier. But yeah, like I will be damned if we have the equivalent of Midian.
Basically, he wasn't literally naked. He was mostly naked. But yeah, that was Midian. He was Midian with that.
Yeah, it's like I will be damned if that is over here. I will be damned.
I didn't say nothing about you doing it. I said if it got it there, I said I would be.
But whether it's you, me, the neighbors below, the mailman. No.
No, we don't want the neighbors.
I don't care if it's a dog. But yeah, as always, social medias as well. I forgot to link it in the last one, but at PTP_99.
Tony the Real.
Like on Twitter and whatnot. Yeah, and also for like when it starts, because I'm pretty sure like one if not both will probably tweet out the link of when the broadcast is up. So keep an eye out for that as well. And yeah, appreciate you guys for supporting and watching. Hopefully Mania, it's not completely a waste of time.
Yeah, obviously next week there won't be a recorded and posted show because we're going to be live.
Oh yeah, it would not be possible. So Monday, actually probably Monday, it would be like done, and then probably expected on like a Tuesday, at the bare minimum probably.
Yeah, probably. That's more likely, sure.
Yeah, at the bare minimum. So just as long as that's disclosed and everything. But yeah, hope you guys have a good rest of your evening, morning, afternoon, whenever you come across this. And yeah, see you guys next week. When is it next week?
Yeah, Saturday.
Yeah. See you guys next week. Peace.